input in Java using scanner class. So the scanner class was introduced in the Java version 1.5. Now we will see that how to use the scanner class. So first of all, let me know you that the scanner class has multiple libraries. There are many libraries inside scanner class, many functions inside scanner class, more than you will ever need to complete our course. So we will learn that how to use the scanner class. To use the scanner class, first of all you have to write import java.util.scanner, then semicolon. Okay, so import java.util.scanner. Without writing this line, you cannot use the scanner class. Then you have to provide this class name. So the class name shall be, example may be, suppose class accept. So this is a class name. Then you have to write public static void main string args. I have explained each of the terms public static void main in the previous video. Now then you have to write the scanner sc equal to new scanner system.in. So what is the meaning of this? This one is the scanner class name. Actually this is the name of the class. This is an object of scanner followed by the equal symbol which is used to initialize the contents inside the object sc. This is a keyword, new keyword, which is used to initialize an object during the object creation. Then you are followed by the scanner. This is a constructor of class scanner. Constructor of class scanner. Okay. So inside the constructor we have provided some, these are called arguments. So the arguments are system.in. So system.in accepts the input from the system, that is a java.lang library, which allows us to input some input data. Now you are going to write how to read inputs from the scanner class. So there are different methods for each of the data types to accept the values. So the first one is that short. To accept the short, basically what we have written sc.next short. So basically all of the methods, if you have to use, you have to write scanner sc equal to new scanner system dot in. So without writing this, you cannot access any of the methods. So for using the scanner object, we can access all of the methods inside the scanner class. So the first method is to accept a short type integer. To accept short type integer, you have to write short, the data type followed by the variable name, then followed by equal to, then you have to write sc.next short to accept the short values. Then integer, normal integer values. So int b equal to sc.next int to accept the integer values. Then we have to read float equal to sc.next float to accept the float values. Basically any floating type values can be accepted within the range. Okay. Next is double. Double d equals next double. So always remember that you have to write in this fashion only. Without writing this fashion, there will be not a significance of writing any of this. Then string equal s.next. So there is a basic. So you can see here there are two types of strings. First one is s.next. The second one is s.next line. So what is the basic difference between? So suppose anyone if anyone wants to accept a value, suppose if anyone wants to give a name, suppose Aman, a string of Aman Raj. Okay. So when you are going to accept with the help of s.next, this space between the Aman and Raj, which is called a white space character, which is what is called a white space character, is treated as a delimiter. So what is a delimiter? Delimiter are the characters which shows that where a particular statement ends. So sc.next command will only take the first value, that is the aman. So the first part will be accepted and the rest of the part after the white space character will not be shown up. So basically, even if you enter Aman Raj as an input, the variable e will store the name Aman only. Okay. Next one is string.h.nextLine. So h.nextLine is a bit change from the h.next. It basically accepts all the delimiters in between a string. In between a string, we accept all the inputs. So the delimiters between the Aman Raj name will be accepted as a string input. So basically, this will show the output and it will hold the value inside the variable f. So variable f will store the value Aman Raj as a whole. So remember that for this kind of things, the in between gap will be taken as the string input. Then the last line, hc.nextCharAt. Let me just show you what is the use of this thing. So hc.nextCharAt, how to use this? So suppose someone wants to input a value of suppose a name. Okay, we have to understand this line. This is a very crucial line, and the caret is a string function which you guys will learn in the class 10. Okay, so hc.next you have already understood that how to accept this part. hc.next how to accept this part. So suppose anyone wants to enter suppose a name, suppose Arya. Suppose a name called Arya. So when you are entering the name Arya, up to this part is okay. The Arya will be accepted because there is only a single word. No delimiter is after that. But what I have written? CharAt. So CharAt is a function. So if you write indexes of the following letters like A, R, Y, A, Arya. So if you write like this 0, 1, 2, 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3 are the indexes of each of the heads. These are called the indexes. Now what happens is that when you just use the CharAt 0 symbol, CharAt 0 symbol will take the first input and will store in the ch as character. So this is how all the inputs in Java is working. The process of removing errors in a program is called debugging. So the process of removing errors in a program is called debugging. Now what is testing? Testing, suppose you have written a program which you have tested that it is syntax error free. The program compiles very efficiently, but in the runtime, suppose someone enters certain value and the program crashes. So there may be some other errors. To detect this error, we always do testing. So testing is the important step for any software to be released before into production. Like Google Mail. If someone sends an email that contains certain values which crashes the entire system, or maybe it is unable to perform a certain task like sending the email to a certain person, it fails. So in that scenario, testing is done rigorously so that the information always stays intact and the process we are determined to make runs very easily. So testing is a process of checking a program with a certain set of values. The certain set of values to test the efficiency and detect errors which can be fixed by debugging. So this is the basic difference of debugging. Then we are going to learn what is the use of the different types of errors. There are three types of errors basically. The first error, there are three types of errors. The first one is logical, then is syntax, and then the last one is runtime. So first error, there are three types of errors. The first error is logical, second is syntax, and the third one is runtime. So what is a logical error? Logical error are the errors which are made while writing a program. The program may run and shows that no syntax errors are there. No syntax errors are there. The program runs flawlessly while compilation. But when at the time of inputs are given up, there may be some basic problems. Like suppose I write a small snippet. For example, I am writing a small program with function argument. So class, suppose class divide program, and inside that I am writing public static void main, and inside the main, since this is a function example of function argument, so I am writing int a comma int b. Now what will happen is that suppose I want to divide two numbers. So I have declared a variable. Suppose int divide equals to a divided by b. No problem. It's okay. Now if I try to run this program using this, I will try to show the output of the program. System.out.println and put this variable over here. So it will show up what we are intended to do. Now the problem will arise. Suppose someone enters a value of 6, enters a value of 5. It's absolutely correct. So since it is a normal division operator, so normal division operator will show 6 divided by 5, 5 ones are 5, remainder is 5 and the quotient is 5. So this becomes your quotient. Quotient will stored inside the divide and show the output of 1. Now someone tries to enter a value of 0 over here. So what will happen is that if you try to divide any number by 0, it is infinity. It is infinity. So it is a major problem. The program will immediately crash. The program will immediately crash and throw an error of cannot divide by 0. Cannot divide by 0. So if you write this program in your computer, it will run. It will not show any syntax error. But if someone accidentally inputs a value of 0 in the second number, this program will entirely crash. So this program has a logical error. The logical error is here. This is a logical error. So there are different ways to mitigate this error. We will just talk in the next classes. Now, syntax error. Suppose if I write the spelling of this class as class static, I have forgot to wrote the v. So you can see over here there is a basic grammatical mistake. There is a basic grammatical mistake while writing the program. So since this grammar is not in the Java system, this program will not compile and will show syntax error. And runtime error is what? Suppose when you try to run a program, the program immediately crashes. The program compiles, and then when you are attempting to running, like right clicking and clicking on void main, the program will not able to run. So that is a runtime error. So this completes our inputs chapter. In the today only I will just supply the rest of the book questions of your APC book and we will complete this chapter. Okay.